Papa Infidel, Ben the Looney, and viewers, as much as I love watching zombie movies and like the fact that there's a large number of people that share my love for the undead, the whole wide popularity, the raging cult phenomenon that is the whole zombie film genre, it's getting a little old. Old like, why are we getting another one every 2 friggin' seconds old? Old like Call of Duty and teeny bop pop sensations old. Like, I understand that whenever something comes out and it gets really popular, that there's always going to be a buttload of bad imitations in its wake. People going, hey, look at me, I can do a zombie movie too! And crap like that. It's been going on for years, right? We've had that problem with martial arts movies, buddy cop movies, disaster movies, slasher movies, Quentin Tarantino movies, John Woo movies. You get the idea. But it's just getting to the point of ridiculousness. Like, I would say with all those vampire movies that kind of followed in Twilight's wake. Look, like I just said, I love watching zombie movies and really enjoy the things that make them tick. What makes them work is not the fact that the zombies have out of control. Actually, the zombies of these movies, I think Max Brooks said it best, they're very containable. They're not very smart. They're not very, in a lot of these movies, they're not very fast. But we as a society implode. We give into fear, we don't work together, and at times it seems as if the human survivors are more dangerous than the actual zombies themselves. So it's always interesting to me to see how the survivors either band together or get each other killed. And that's not to say that the zombies don't pose any kind of threat. They're still mindless, flesh-eating, brain-munching, skin-rotting Walking Dead, and their only goal in life is to feast on warm bodies. You know, humans, dogs, cats, horses. If it's warm blood and it moves, they're gonna eat it without a second thought. With humans, one bite from a zombie and you die and become one unless you put a bullet in your own head beforehand. Every filmmaker has their own take on zombie films and have since 1968 when George Romero's classic Night of the Living Dead was released. And in all honesty, I have to thank George Romero for pretty much inventing the whole zombie film genre as it's known today, although at the time when he did Night and the 2 sequels, Dawn and Day, there really was no zombie film genre. It was basically a subgenre of horror films. But for some odd reason, the whole zombie thing kind of dropped off the map until about '02 when Paul Anderson did his quote-unquote adaptation of Resident Evil. Well, thank you for bringing the whole zombie film genre back, Paul. I've stated a couple of times before. Yeah, I do badger his movies, but I can't help give the man credit for bringing zombie films back into popularity. And since then, you know, zombie movies have pretty much taken off and become their own genre. And since Night of the Living Dead's release, you know, directors have pretty much tweaked and put their own perspective spin on zombie movies. You know, some films, you don't come back as a zombie unless you've been bitten. With other cases, like Frank Darabont's TV adaptation of The Walking Dead, when you die, you come back as a zombie anyway. In a lot of cases, zombies just lumber around, and in others, they sprint like mad. Now, I know there's some purists out there who say, well, if they're running, they're not zombies. I guess it's a perspective thing. Personally, as far as I'm concerned, if they die, they come back to life to feast on the living, they're zombies. That's why I don't count the infected as zombies, the infected from 28 Days Later. They're not zombies, just crazy people. And when it comes to zombie movies, I can't really say much about them because I haven't seen most of them. I've seen both the original and remake versions of Night of the Living Dead, at least bits and pieces of them. I've seen both versions of Dawn of the Dead. The original, probably my favorite zombie movie of all time. And the remake is pretty much what got me into zombie movies in the first place. Again, some people count 28 Days Later. I think it's a great low-budget horror film, but it's not a zombie movie. Same way goes for the Grindhouse movie, Planet Terror. You know, they weren't zombies, they were called sickos. The Resident Evil movies are a lot of fun. They're bad, but still, like, they're entertaining in a very, very fun way, like a Michael Bay film. A Michael Bay film that's not a Transformers movie. I think most recent zombie film I've seen at the time that I had written this video, it was a straight to video, it was a straight to DVD zombie movie called Dead Season, and I'd rather play Dead Island than watch that movie ever again. No, the most recent zombie film I've seen so far is World War Z, and that was a refreshing take on the whole zombie film genre. You know, zombie movie like a summer blockbuster. That's what it was like, and it was so refreshing from this over-bloated. It's like Duke Nukem Forever to the whole first-person shooter video game genre. We've got an entire market that's so over-bloated with these crappy imitation games, Call of Duty imitation games, and we get something like Duke Nukem Forever that simply said, screw all that, here we are, we're just gonna mess around and make you laugh. Same with World War Z. Well, World War Z basically said, here's the rule book. We know the rule book of zombie movies. Let's just throw all that crap away and make it up fresh. And it was 1,000 times better than God knows how many Romero imitation films I have seen over the years. And no, I am not going to say anything about House of the Dead. Why? Because screw Yui Bowl, that's why. And though I mentioned it briefly just now, I am a huge fan of AMC's The Walking Dead. You know, people can bitch about how it doesn't follow the comics all they want. I could care less. I could care less. My mother could care less. My oldest sister could care less. Papa Infidel could care less. My cousins could care less. You know, that show kicks ass. I mean, we're only midway through season 4 right now, correct? But, you know what, I can't wait till February. I can't wait till next month to see how the rest of the season's gonna go. Oh, and by the way, AMC, this is for you, for making me wait 2 freaking months to see the rest of the goddamn season. But, again, why is everybody obsessed with zombie films right now? It's unbelievable. These kind of movies have been going basically since 1968, and people are acting like they're the greatest genre of film ever invented. And like I said earlier, it's getting old. Everybody's like, zombies, 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 zombies this, zombies that, zombies out my ass, zombies going down my throat, zombies shooting up my urethra. Zombies, 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 the dead are rising and the dead are walking. It's like, God, where did you stop the madness? I mean, we're basically becoming so obsessed with zombies, it's turning into, the whole genre is turning into Bieber fever, basically. Okay, look, I have no problem with zombie movies being mainstream, but this is ridiculous. Actually, you know what? I mean, I would consider it a nice breath of fresh air, considering all the crappy horror film remakes we get out of Platinum Dunes on a regular basis, but still. God! Make something different! Like World War Z. Well. So, bottom line, I think zombie movies, I like zombie movies and really like getting into the whole aspect of the dead rising from beyond the grave to feast on us mere mortals. I just wish that they weren't like this year's or last year's or next year's newest teen pop sensation where there's a new one coming out every 2 seconds and then everybody's just forgotten about it.
Don't break, man!